G'day and welcome to the second episode of DB Adventures. Now you may have already noticed that someone's missing, and yes, unfortunately Wayno couldn't be with us this time. He had some things with work and muttering something about having to earn a living or something, so anyway, he will definitely be with us on the next episode, hopefully. But joining me this time, I've got my best mate Steve and our mate Brett. Now these two boys will be joining me in Steve's ocker. Now, if you don't know what an ocker is, well, stick around because you're going to get to see a lot of it. We've got about 800 k's left to go to our final destination, so we've got to get a wriggle on. But stick around, sit back, relax and enjoy, because we're heading into the territory for a little adventure. So we've travelled about, just over 2,000 k's to get to where we are here. So it's been a long journey already and we haven't even started the adventure yet, so I'm pretty keen to get where we're going. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. But even just getting to here hasn't been without its troubles. Steve had a blowout in the ocker, about 100 k's an hour, which is pretty exciting. All I heard was Brett come over the radio saying, "We got to pull up!" Looked in the rear vision mirror and here it is, the ocker, just smoke and dirt, crap going everywhere, and it's heading off into the scenery. So it's pretty exciting for those boys, that's for sure. It took us a while to get out of that one. The rim was destroyed. The tyre was just bloody wrapped all around the axle, the diff, so we had to get in there with a grinder and cut it out. So, you know, these things happen. Hopefully sorted those problems out, but it just goes to show what can happen just getting to a place before you can get there, you know. So where are we heading? Well, the place you may have heard of is called Lorella Springs. A lot of people actually haven't heard of it. It's a 1 million acre property in the Gulf of Northern Territory. Now, to put 1 million acres into perspective, that's about 2 times the size of the ACT. So you can fit a lot of politicians into this one, I tell you. There's 26 or 28 countries or something in the world that are actually smaller than this property. So it's fairly substantial, and it's got nice creeks and rivers, and it's pretty much unspoiled part of Northern Territory. So we're going to explore that. We'll be up there for a couple of weeks. So we're itching to get there. So keep putting the yards in.
Driving through this area, you quickly get a sense of just how remote we are. From horizon to horizon, there is absolutely nothing. Not a tree, not a hill, and barely even a cloud. There is certainly no mobile phone service out here, and it's times like these that you hope that all your prep work pays off. This is not the sort of place you want to have a major breakdown.
Well, I've just arrived in Cape Crawford and filling up for fuel. Looks like I've got a little bit of damage. Well, a little bit of a problem anyway. So down here, the old trailer's had a bit of a let go. Looks like all the rivets along the front that hold the tub in have all broken out at the top. So you have to repair that. I got some screws for that. But over here, looks like Steve-O might have done an airbag. So in the big ocker. Get under here. See, sort of popped the whole bag out. So the boys are working on that at the moment. So gonna be here for a little while. We're not far. Not far from turn off to Lorella. Your sign just down the road here somewhere. But anyway, I'll get stuck into some of these repairs and see how we go.
With all these repairs going on, now might just be the right time for a couple of introductions. The bloke on the left, that's Steve-O. He owns the Yocker. The fella on the right, that's Brett. He just complains about having to work on the Yocker. While these two got stuck into replacing the airbag, I thought I'd better check out to see just what's going on with my trailer.
Okay, you can see in here all the rivets. It's okay. A bit at the top of one. So they've all popped out of these spots here. So I'll get some screws, see if we can patch it up. Get us through the rest of the trip. He's hoping anyway.
These are just a few of the spots where the rivets have let go. And before too long, Steve-O had the new airbag in place. I had a few screws holding my trailer together. And we could finally get going, hit the track for the last push into Lorella Springs. After a lot of kilometres of dirt roads filled with corrugations, washouts and sections of bull dust that would swallow a Suzuki, it certainly was a very welcome sight when Lorella Homestead finally came into view.
Yeah, pretty cool, no doors on it.
Well, after almost 3,000 Ks, finally made it to Lorella. Broken trailers, broken trucks, busted tyres. It's been a bit of an effort, but we've finally made it. Tomorrow, well, it's pretty much going to be an RDO, I think. The boys had enough. They want to sit back and relax. I can tell you, I certainly do too. So we're going to fix up some gear, get some stuff sorted, just do some repairs, and generally take it easy for at least one day before we head out and see what Lorella's got to offer us. For now, the boys are over here having a beer, a well-deserved one, and I think I'm going to have one too.
Lorella Springs Homestead is nestled right at the base of the Toowoomba Range. This range also forms the picturesque backdrop of the campground, and in between the main house and the campground, a thermal spring bubbles up from the ground and flows out towards the Gulf of Carpentaria to form the Rosie River. And I can tell you, a swim in this spring after the long dusty drive in is way better than any warm bath you'll ever get in one of those fancy hotels. Even the local wildlife choose to hang out here. These animals can be quite friendly, and it didn't really come as much of a surprise when one particular critter got quite attached to Brett.
What do we got, Phil?
So Brett,
Yes, Phil.
tonight, must have been last night, managed to get himself a tick. And he's buried himself in there. Nice and deep. So, poor old man, we gotta try and get him out. I need to warm my fingers up.
They are cold.
Oh, cold. You see that any better? See his legs in there. Let's see. Try not to squeeze him out. Get him under his head. Which is not easy. There we go. One tick. I think we got head and all. But look at that. Very good.
Thank you, Dr. Phil.
No more. How do you feel?
My recovery process will be slow, but I'll be okay.
So with the confidence that the first ever patient of the DB Adventure Bush Clinic was going to make a full recovery, it was time to head out through the gate and explore this beautiful part of the country.
So this morning we left the Lorella Creek, the homestead, Lorella Springs homestead, and left the campground. Finally, on our big adventure, which is what we're here for. The boys are pretty keen to get down to Rosie Creek, to the mouth of Rosie Creek, well, along Rosie Creek anyway, so that's where we're heading. Now, the track's normally about 2.5 hours, something like that, to get from the homestead right out to the coast. But we're going to take, hopefully, a couple of days, a few days even. We're going to find some nice spots we can throw the boats in, somewhere we want to fish. We'll just stay there the night. If the fishing's good, we'll stay 2 nights. Take our time. We're here for a while, so why not enjoy it? Try not to make the mistake that a lot of people do and just blow through to the end and then, oh yeah, I've seen that, done that, whatever, and then rip back again. So we're going to take our time, see what's around, enjoy it, and hopefully have a lot of fun.
Now, while the track out to Rosie Creek isn't exactly extreme, it certainly does have its challenges, with big holes full of bull dust and soft sand being the 2 most common obstacles. Travelling around here this late into the dry season usually means that most of the creeks have long since dried up. However, they will still let you know that they won't be crossed easily.
What did I tell you about not getting bogged with front?
Get off here a bit so you can park on the hard stuff.
Good choice. We'll be there in a moment. I'm going to go and put the hubs on. Why would you do that? In front of a camera!
Yes, even big trucks with big tyres still need four-wheel drive from time to time.
Front of a camera. It's still
You grabbed the
running.
camera, did you? No, you're stuck.
No, we just want a bit of air time, that's all.
Four-wheel drive makes everything so much easier.
You must know my old man, he would have got bogged there.
But as we all know, locking the hubs in soft sand is really only half the job. But for Steve-O, letting tyre pressures down is about plan B. He still has to try plan C first.
Have a run at it?
Aye, Captain. You're joking.
I'll let him down.
Yeah, so plan D it is. When you do finally get around to dropping your tyre pressures, don't forget the ones on the trailer. This allows the trailer to float up on top of the sand instead of cutting through it and acting like a big anchor. And just like magic, the big rig just walks its way through. A bit further down the track, we came across another thermal hot spring. These thermal hot springs are a major feature of Lorella Springs Station.
So after a bit of a drive, we've ended up at Moody Hot Springs. And yes, as the name suggests, nudie is for the nudist. Now, we're not going to be doing that today because, seriously, I'm with two hairy old blokes and no one should ever have to see that. Never. Ever. No. That's wrong. Never. No.
Once we get to the Rosie River, there'll be no safe places to swim. So we have to take advantage of these springs while we can. So after a nice refreshing swim with our clothes on, we continued along the track, and once again I got the call from the Ocker.
Just had a call on the radio from the boys back there, from Brett saying I think they might have had a blowout, so I'm sitting there waiting for some news to see what's happened. So hopefully it's all good. It might have just popped off.
It's not a tyre, Phil, it was just an airline blowout.
There you go. Well, that sounds a bit better. You want to try and stop up here somewhere and fix it, or are you going to keep going? What's going on?
We've stopped because it's actually losing too much air.
Okie dokie. Time to go and have a look, I think. Yeah, see how they're going. So it turns out he's done an airbag, another airbag. It's like in the trailer, so I'm just trying to find a spot where we can stop, see what we can do about it. But fortunately along this track, it's not a lot. It's fairly closed in, fairly dense scrub. So a bit of a creek crossing. I think it's Rosie's Creek crossing down further. We might be able to get in somewhere down there, so see how we go.
The crossing was certainly open enough, but it was way too sandy and the risk of bogging the Ocker was just too great. Luckily, there was a nice little cutting just up the other side that was perfect for making repairs. Now that we're able to get under the trailer for a better look, it's easy to see the problem. Complete blowout of the airbag. And so, for the second time this trip, we set about replacing the airbag. Luckily, we were able to reuse the one Steve-O and Brett had removed earlier. With a bit of work to the ride adjuster, we managed to get everything to sit right. Now if you're wondering how Steve-O just happened to have these spares, well, on another trip to Cape York, he had one fail as well. This experience made it mandatory for him to carry a couple of spares. Got Brett scouting ahead on the motorbike. He been busting, I think, since we got here. Get out on the bike. Anyway, he's been good. He's been scouting ahead, seeing what's in front, letting us know if there's any other traffic or big sandy patches or anything like that. So, and he's having a ball doing it. So win-win. Eventually, we found a cracking campsite right beside the Rosie River. We just could not wait to get the boats in the water. So what makes this such a great campsite? Well, it comes with its own boat ramp. This is just one big advantage of having a little tinny. Now with the tinnies ready to go, we can truly get an appreciation of just where we are. Before we left the homestead, the owner's son told us that there were 2 5-metre crocs at the mouth of this river. With that in mind, I thought I'd better come up with some sort of strategy.
I am constantly watching around as a precaution for the crocs. These crocs are usually, well, twice the size of my boat. The ones they're talking about down the mouth of the river, being 5 metres. Well, this tinny is 2.4. It's only half the size of the croc. So we just keep an eye out and be careful and get ready to do a runner if need be. See how we go.
Now with the croc contingency plan sorted, it was time to use one of my very special techniques to see if I can find some fish.
Mangrove jack over here. You can smell him. Let's have a look. Yeah, bring it on.
smell him. He's over here. He's in these snags here. I can smell him. Where are you, Jackie? Jackie! I know you're here. I know you're here. I know you're here. Okay, so maybe the snoz was still full of bull dust and not working properly. On the bright side, we didn't see any large crocs, but unfortunately, we didn't see any large fish either. With this in mind, we made a decision to pack up the camp the next day and head as far along the river as we can possibly drive. And before we could do any of that, we needed to get the boats back up the boat ramp. With the boats now out of the water and a good fire going, we sat back and enjoyed the night, as tomorrow would see us at a new campsite further down the river.
So we've finally made it into Rosie Creek campsite. We've stayed the last couple of days obviously a bit further up, but this is as far as you can get towards the mouth of the creek by driving. The rest is by boat. The drive in is, I wouldn't say it's difficult, it's certainly not extreme, it's just bull dust. Lots of soft sand and bull dust, and some few deep ruts. Nothing too major. But we're in here now, so I think at this stage this will be our campsite. Brett's taken off on the bike, have a look, see if there's anything further up, get close to the coast, but at this stage we don't believe there is. So, but this one's not a bad campsite. Got a set of stairs here that someone's carved in for us. So right beside me here is a bit of a boat ramp, I guess. You can drive down spot. So we can drive down there and head down to the water. So we want to try and put the boats down here. That's our friendly neighbours. They're packing up now to leave. Now according to them and some people up further, no one's catching any fish. So we hope to change all that with any luck. So there's a deep pool here that runs all the way up somewhere. I reckon they go up a little bit and turns to like half a metre of water. Our tiny little tinnies, you know, that's just why we have them. They're so easy to get over, that sort of thing. Of course, you got to watch the big crocs. We're watching two play around out the front of our campsite last night again. And I expect there's some bigger ones down here. But our neighbours here, they said they haven't seen any crocs yet, so that's good. Down there's another pool. The problem is this is all shallow through here. So we'll see how we go. Tide's on its way out. But anyway, sounds like a lot of fun and a lot of a challenge, a lot of adventure. Nice. Now poor Steve opened up his truck as we rolled into camp and found someone left the water pump on. Now we're not naming any names, though, but what do you reckon? We blame Brett?
Well, blame Brett, he's not here to defend himself.
Brett's off on the bike, so we're going to blame him. Didn't turn the water pump off. He's flooded the sink and flooded the rest of the truck. So now Steve has to mop the floor. So hopefully it's all good in there. He's got most of it done.
Walk in on my floor, mop my floor.
Just mop the floor and I'm bringing dirt in. Hopefully the bed's okay. And as I leave, I will cover up my tracks. Give him a hand.
Cut the beer, save the beer.
Save the beer. Because we can't live on water now because there's none left. We have to live on beer. So Brett, we're blaming you.
This morning we had the boats back in the water to follow the fog on a 13-kilometre journey out to the mouth of the Rosie River. Thankfully, it was a high tide which allowed us to pick our way through the numerous shallow rock bars.
Beauty of this little boat, tiny little motor, is we can travel over the shallow stuff because we draw very little amount of water. This is only knee deep, this stuff. It's going to be fun at low tide, but at the moment we're just drifting over it, which is good. Watching little fish swim around. Can't believe how clear this water is. Really, really nice.
We eventually made it into deeper water, which finally allowed us to open up the throttles. Now, if you're thinking that the boat looks a little bit quicker than the last episode, then you'd be right. Since then, I've had a 33% power upgrade. Yep, you guessed it, I've gone from 3 horsepower to 4 horsepower. And boy, was Minnie Tinny loving it. The mouth of the river was very eerie. All the fog that we had chased downstream just seemed to stop here and hang on the water. It's a scene that would be right at home on the River Thames in London, not here in the Northern Territory. When it did eventually clear though, there was no mistaking it. We are in tiny little boats in the heart of Northern Territory Gulf Country. With the sightseeing done, it was now time to get down to business.
Alright, first cast. Drifting out with the tide. Looking at the mangroves. Let's see how we go. Yep, first cast, and we're on. Yep. Oh yeah, it's got a bit of fight on this one. Gotta love that. Drag me into the mangroves. Not sure what it is yet. Oh, it's another jack. It's another jack. It's a decent sized jack too. Women. Woo! Gotta love that. Cast one out of the mangroves into the fish. Oh, looks like Steve-O's on as well. Steve-O's on as well.
And yep, Steve-O was on for the first barra of the trip. Problem is, it's the wrong sort of barra.
Is it barracuda?
Barracuda.
We were starting to think that the fish around here were just a little bit impatient. They weren't waiting for us to hook them.
Oh, shit! Oh. Sorry, camera. That scared the crap out of me. I just saw this thing come darting across and just went smack and gone. Oh. Bloody all happening here.
And with that, Steve-O was on again. And again. Now bear in mind, Brett had not yet got his rod in the water, because Steve-O kept catching fish and he kept landing them.
Sorry, Rick.
So anytime you want to catch a fish, Brett, feel free, eh? What is it, trevally?
Yeah, trevally.
Little trevally. Yeah, but they don't taste as good as mangrove jack, eh?
Eventually, Steve-O decided to put his rod down and actually let Brett catch a fish.
Trevally, nice. Nice trevally.
With all the practice he's been getting with Steve-O's fish, Brett went for a textbook release of his own fish. Back into the boat. Nice work, mate.
We don't want cooters.
What we do want is something for dinner.
Yeah. Oh, cod. Got a nice little cod. Nice little cod. Watched him come out and grab that one.
There was only one little problem with my dinner arrangements.
He's too small to keep though, unfortunately.
The next fish to find itself in my boat was one that I'd never ever caught before. This is a Queensland groper. At 60 centimetres, it is only a baby. They can grow as long as 270 centimetres and weigh in at 400 kilos.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, all right. Oh. Yep, he's still on. Still on. What have we got this time? Trevally, I think. Looks like a trevally. Yep. Tell you what, some fight on these trevally. Thing is, circling under the boat. Jesus. Spinning the whole boat around. Watch the motor. Bit of
Trying to tire him out because I don't have a net. No, no, no. On Trevally. I don't need to keep Trevor Trevally. Trevor Trevally can go back in the water. Good fight on him though. Something else that had a very good fight on it was what was on the end of Steve-O's line. Finally, at the end of the day, he hooked up to the right type of barra. Nice.
That's a nice little fish, Stephen.
I reckon he's going to go in our air ski. That's probably dinner, I'd say. We've got enough, I'd say.
Oh, we got plenty for dinner. I think everything else can just get chucked back for tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow. Because with dinner sorted, it was time to take the 13-kilometre journey back up the river to camp. So join us next time as we see rocks, crocs, and a bloke in jocks in part 2 of this awesome Lorella Springs adventure.